Hi, I'm Mamta Narula, radio host, MC, and storyteller. After 25 years connecting with audiences on EBC radio and at major South Asian events, I'm excited to bring you Moments with Mamta. This podcast shares real conversations about the moments that shape us, stories of growth, grit, and inspiration. Thank you for listening and welcome to Moments with Mamta. All right. So, Moments with Mamta is the podcast is so lucky to have some renowned names and some inspiring stories from our own community in New Jersey. And today, it's such a pleasure to have somebody who's highly respected because of her craft, dedication, and the hard work she's put in for many, many, many decades. So, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome on the Moments with Mamta. Bina Menon, the acclaimed choreographer, teacher, dancer, and a lot of things. So, Bina welcome to Moments with Mamta.
Thank you, Mamta. Thank you for having me.
Bina I've actually known you from far. As a media interactions we have had, but I don't know why I feel there is a connection. I respect you for who you are. So really I'm very curious to know, how did it all started? How was your childhood like your growing up days? Let's talk about that.
I started learning dance at the age of 2.5. Not sure what, the elders were thinking, but they put me in a dance class because when the day I was born, there was an astrologer at the hospital, and he said that I would become a dancer the day I was born. So those days, becoming a dancer was like pretty scary to everyone. So they didn't know, what it was all about. But then as I was growing up, I kept hearing that too. Someone said that I was going to become a dancer. And we have artists in our family. And one of my cousin, he was a actor at that point in South Indian movies. And he was at the hospital. And the day he was at the hospital to see, my mother and me, he was in a makeup where he actually performed Bharatanatyam for that particular movie, that particular scene on that day when he came to the hospital. So he was in a very different makeup. And all that was told to me, as I was growing up, I heard all that. And the first time someone, writes, holding your hand on rice at the age of 3 to introduce you to art and studies and all of that, that was Gemini Ganeshan ji and Savitri ji. That is actress Rekha's father. And Savitri ji she was a very popular artist in South. The movie Mahanati, that won national award, it was based on her story. So she's the one that held my hand and, introduced me to letters, So all
it's giving me goosebumps. It's just giving me goosebumps.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but it was all kept very low profile. No one made a big deal out of it. My mother, when I was 2.5, and I was introduced to dancing, at that point, I lost my father. And my mother had to get busy to start something on her own and take care of, she had 3 daughters. So she had to take care of all 3 of us. We were all very young at that point. My younger sister was just born. So she had to take care of just few months old. So that process, she made sure that she gave us whatever was necessary to, make a living, or at least she set an example more than like her preaching. I think it was more her practicing that we saw. And it was somewhere in the back of the head how to, make ends meet or put our lives together. And she was a teacher. She was an economics lecturer initially. And then she started a school of her own in my father's name. And we saw her working, nonstop, but kept herself very calm, focused. And she put all her time into putting this school together and, establishing the school and all of that. So I guess like watching that was like our path too, when, things were not the way like, we thought it would be. God had a different, idea for my life. So I took her way of putting things together, just focus on what I wanted to grow and establish. And whatever I believe, whatever we focus on, that's what grows, you know. Yeah, so if you want something to grow, you focus on that growth and whatever it takes to, make it happen or establish or grow, whatever. So then, schooling, I was actually an athlete also. So I represented the state, Tamil Nadu state athlete I was. And then, as I grew up as a teenager, Hema Malini was my guru's student too. So I got to like travel with her all over the world to perform. And so I was kind of like exposed to like a lot of different activities. I was also a painter, so I've won a lot of awards in painting and all of that too. So so it kept going like that, and got married, came to America. So the first 7 8 years, I just taught my friend family, their children, and they started winning competitions and stuff like that. So they were like, okay, why don't you start a school? There's scope for this. And that is how I started the school. And then it's been like, as for once a week, I said, oh, once a week I can do this. And then it became twice, then it became thrice. Then I now work all the 7 days.
All right. So it is
That's the
actually,
journey.
it's getting very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, but I want to talk about those early days. So when you were traveling with Hema Malini ji and other artists, what was that experience? Because you were very young at that time.
Yeah. I've traveled only with Himalaya and traveled with her abroad and within India. So I mainly did Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam. And at times, like I concluded the show with a local, traditional folk dance or something like that. Though, I mean, that I feel it was quite interesting because I had to put a whole set of dances together. And I don't know whether it was because I was very young, it didn't like really make me nervous or any of that. I was so looking forward to it. Or maybe because I was thorough with my work, I was able to enjoy the process. The whole challenge was to get into the program in the sense to be part of her team. So that might have been a challenge, but I went with it. I didn't go with any kind of agenda. I just wanted to see Hema Malini. So, I just went and I got in.
So that is a very good
So
agenda. Very good agenda to have, that you want to see Hema Malini. In fact, a couple years ago,
yeah.
we wanted to invite her because she performs. She still performs like Durga. There's a Bharatanatyam piece that she has. So we wanted her to come here in US to perform for one of the organizations. And I went to her house actually, and I was just surprised to see the simplicity, the
Exactly.
normal ways of eating and greeting us. And she was wearing a cotton salwar kurta. I'm like, oh my god, is she Hema Malini? Because I've met her other places in media
Yeah.
events, but at her home she was very
Oh,
simple.
yeah.
And I'm sure you follow that trend as well, because you have balanced the simplicity, the classiness, the seriousness. And when I see you, I actually see a South Indian actress. Somehow I see you as a South Indian actress. The way you're always put together, nice saris with jewelry. I've always met you when you're so put together. How do you manage that? I mean, before we talk about your school and dancing further, how do you manage this personal attribute of presenting yourself?
I feel like when you know more about something, you see the ocean of whatever it is in front of you. So that just maybe scares you or humbles you. The more you know about something, there is more to it. You realize there's more to it. So whatever I see, like if I see birds flying, I try to see a choreography there. If I see like trees moving, whatever I see, I try to see a costume or choreography or something that can be part of my work in there. So everything brings in some work for me.
That's amazing.
So when I see a toddler moving, I see a dance step there that can happen for my student. I'll say, okay, she can follow this way of putting something to, because everything has a rhythm to it. We don't realize there is rhythm to it, but everything has a rhythm to it, universal rhythm, right? So we bring that into work. That toddler can be Krishna or baby Rama. So there are like so many movements that when we show trees, we go for the branches, the leaves, the bushes, everywhere you see work there. How to portray a living creature or something that just exists. So everything seems like work to me. What mudra will go in for this? So I guess, like, I don't know if I'm humble, if I'm like calm, but my head is like always running, looking for something. So I feel like even as a dancer, it allows you to use so much space, so much colors, so much of work. You sweat and you breathe so hard, but your mind is just very calm, thinking about the next step, next step, next step. So that could be probably the training. I always think, even when we cry, Bharatanatyam is, Indian classical dance form is where, one dancer, shows Sita, immediately she becomes Rama, she becomes Lakshmana, she becomes Ravana, all these characters at the same time. And they all have like very different emotions and body language. So we switch from one to the other at the same time. Showing Sita versus showing Ravana has to be like drastically different, but you're still trying to look good as a dancer. So in real life too, I feel like when your emotions come in, you can see yourself being angry and not want to go overboard, or being sad and go overboard, being too happy and go overboard. So everything has like a limit. I guess like your mind and body gets trained to be that way when you're totally involved in it.
They say, right, a lot of us are like a duck. So duck under the water, the feet is fluttering, but in the front it's so calm. Right. So nobody knows what's happening inside the duck. I think, that's how it is. And, very valid point that you mentioned, that you learned so much from your mother, because I did the same. Even without her teaching anything specifically, just observing how she manages her life, home, us, kids and husband and everything. It was quite interesting that I gave an interview recently and they asked me who has been your inspiration, and the answer is always my mom, because it all started from there, the first teacher. So tell me one thing: when you moved to US and you decided to start Kalashri School of Dance, was it you? Did you always think that at some point you will have your own dancing school, or you were not working, so decided, okay, let me do this?
No, I was working. I was working at a bank. So this was something that was always there. I think even as a child, I was always into dancing. And I still remember, I might have been in like first grade or second grade. And I would like have dance classes behind my classroom on the back. During recess, I would teach all these children, and I would maintain like a attendance register. Like those are just papers. I would like fold it and make it look like a book, and have like all these names written. And I was very strict. They all have to be eat their food and like be there. They cannot be a minute late. I would just, maybe I was being my teacher or my mother, I'm not sure. but it was there. So during weekends, I still remember one of my neighbors used to learn dance from me. I'm only a kid then, right? But I'm supposed to be her teacher. So Saturday morning, if she doesn't show up, I would call the mother and say, "Why isn't she here?" So she'll come tomorrow. She has to go somewhere. So I'd say, "No, I already marked the attendance for your child. So she has to be there." I was very particular that everyone, so that teaching was always there in me. And during summer vacation, all my cousins would come in and I would put like a play or dance and all of that together. When parents are like sleeping in the afternoon, they're taking a nap, I would take them all to the back room and like teach them. We used to have a big long room in the back. So we go there, teach, and put all the chairs on one side. And by the time they come back, all the dances would be ready. And I was mentioning to one of my cousins, I've been teaching for like over 50 years. And she said, "You've been teaching more than that. Like, you didn't start when you were 13. I think you started when you were 7 or 8. You started teaching." I remember learning all these dances. And one of my cousin was here from Hong Kong, and we were going for lunch. And she started singing the song that I taught her when she was 5. And I was so happy to hear the song. And she said, "You taught me the song, this dance when we were 5." So that journey, like teaching, has always been there. It was, even when I started the dance school, it didn't feel like I was doing something new. I started something new. So I've been teaching, I think from age 13, I've been like choreographing for several dancers, and we won competitions at that age too. So it
Wow.
wasn't like, yeah, so university competitions, like so many competitions. Yeah, as a teenager, I've put together several dances. So it was just part of putting something together, coming up with new ideas and stuff like that.
So
I
tell me, when
enjoy.
you started, yeah, when you started the school, what were the challenges? Because it's a new country, you are adjusting, and now you start a school. Any hurdles, anything, failures?
Um, I don't know if I realized that I was going through something. I just started it and focused on building it. Never looked at if there was something that could have stopped me, I might have had a solution for it. So,
Amazing. That's
so
amazing.
I was just looking forward to where I can present this work. And I think when you focus on the matter, like rest of it falls in place, like bringing new students coming in. All of that was part of my hard work towards my students, I think, or that commitment brings work in for you. So you don't have to go looking for anything. It just, when it comes to you, also, I feel like it's meant to be that way, because I feel when you're a teacher, when you're a guru, you have like, certain number of shishyas, and that guru shishya parampara happens for a reason. So I feel like they come to me for a reason, and I have to provide them everything I possibly can because they are with me for a reason. So maybe that's what it was, but never focused on what might have gone wrong. There might have been something going wrong, but I always took everything as someone criticized me for something. I always thought that there was truth in it, and I never thought of it as criticism. Always thought like, I should correct it. I always thought like I was wrong.
Oh,
Never thought like, no, I
oh my
never
God.
got it done right.
Talking to you, I'm thinking there is this 30 minutes is not going to be enough because there is so much to learn from you, and you're such a positive person. Oh my God. People don't take criticism positively. People try to argue, people try to defend themselves, and you're here saying that you believe that there's something wrong in you if somebody's complaining about
Yeah, I
something.
always thought that there was something, if someone could see it and say it to me or to someone and it comes to my ears, there's something that there is like God cannot come and tell me. So it will come through someone. So, it has come to me. So, like, maybe I should take care of it. I always thought that, there's like a message behind everything. that happens. You just need to think and stop and think about that message more than the messenger, you know.
So that also tells me, if I'm getting it right, you're a very spiritual person.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I still remember as a little kid, I was at a temple. Maybe I was 3 or 4 years old. I was at a temple, and I still remember, like recently when I went back to India after that many years, I went to that temple. It looks different now, but that day, like I was standing there, and it was Radha Krishna, and then I was looking at Krishna as a little kid. I was just staring. I don't know what happened. I still remember that day as a drone shot. Like me standing there is like a drone shot in my mind. So there was something that day, I think, that particular day is always there in my mind as a day that God decided to keep me on his side.
Binaji, it all started with you, and I'm sure there are so many people responsible for making who you are and your success story. And after your mother, it is, I assume it's your gurus who actually taught you
Yes.
the first step. So
Yes.
tell us something about your gurus.
My guru is Kalamandalam Nattanam Gopalakrishnan. He's from the University of Kalamandalam. And he moved out of Kalamandalam and came to Chennai. And that is how Hema Malini was his student. Like a lot of us, got to perform with Hema Malini because he was teaching Hema Malini. And he was very creative, very creative. He always thought of ideas that never was something that someone could put together at that time, right? So I feel like a lot of his ideas uh, were there, but I don't think he was appreciated as much as he should have. Uh, Even though we're good at something, it's always about having connections and influence, right? But he never thought about any of it. He just focused on his work, and I'm so glad that I found him as a guru. And whatever I could learn from him, maybe it is only 50% of what he had in his head that I have. But to develop that 50%, there's always room for that. Do more research on what you believe in, and then because it's a creative art, you can just go with it with base it on your emotion, base it on your costumes, base it on music, base it on lyrics. These are the four elements that carry a dancer or a theater, right? Whether it is ankikam, vachikam, satvikam, aharyam, these are the four Sanskrit terms, right? Broadway has it, but Broadway doesn't have the term, but we have the term, because our work is from several centuries back. So we have the term, but everywhere, even if you look into a ballerina, you see that elbow going up, and you see Bharatanatyam also goes there. So we're all from different parts of the world, but how art seems to be very similar when it comes to body language. And when you look at ballet, you see Russia, the snow and flurries and all of that in that work. In India, I always explain it to my students. If you take Bharatanatyam is very geometrical, symmetrical and geometrical. So it follows the architecture, the temples of Tamil Nadu. If you look at Kerala, the Mohiniyattam, you see the coconut trees pleats in the costumes and the sway of crops and paddy field and palm trees. That sway is what you see in Mohiniyattam. When you look at Kuchipudi, lots of rivers as part of Andhra. So it's the environment that is actually part of your work. So you adapt the environment or the emotion or the lyrics. Sometimes it's lyrics that stand out. So you bring in work through those lyrics, or you sometimes it's the costumes that stand out. So then you bring in work through that. So it all depends on what you want to portray and what medium you want to use to portray, you know.
So, I'm very curious to ask, after so many years of teaching, do you still remain to be the strict teacher?
I am in the sense, after class, I don't know what to do. I won't know how to behave, you know. So yeah, I won't know how to, have a conversation with anyone. But during class, that particular student, all these students bring a set of work to me. So there, dancing and teaching are two different things, right? A dancer cannot probably see what is wrong with a person's work, because it's going from your head to her head, the child's head, and the child's head to her body, and her major limbs and minor limbs take over, right? So for us to find what is not allowing the child to not look as good as she possibly can, so that is where your mind has to go to, like, chisel out all those unwanted work and like bring that proper work into her. So that sometimes comes across as being auntie yelled or picked on me or scolded, right? So it is much easier to just let it go. But I think a teacher's dharma is to not let it go, So
Lovely. That's superb. So you've taught so many students.
yeah, over
Are there
3,000
any?
students.
Wow, 3,000, over
By myself,
3,000.
no assistance.
That's
No,
just
no
incredible. That's incredible.
I
Are there any
think that
students
has,
who,
uh,
any
uh,
students who stood out that you'll be like, oh
yeah,
wow.
y- yeah, there are several students. I feel there's this one student in particular, I talk about her to everyone. She started off as a very not so interested student. She didn't see herself as a dancer. Even parents just kept her in dance class, but never thought. But I could see there is something in her that if it is like, disciplined or put together, she'll be really good at whatever she does. But no one could, she couldn't see, her parents couldn't see it. So then I took it upon me to make sure that I gave her like a stage by herself. She did not even have a costume. I had to borrow someone's costume, give it to her, make her wear it, put her makeup, and I went to the show. I told her parents, like, if you have a show, we can make her dance there. So they, in their community, they had a show. I was not even invited, but I still went. And I stood on one side of the stage and I told her, I'll be here. If you forget, just look this side. I'll cue you. But she didn't. She just enjoyed the dance. She just put everything together. That is when her parents saw her being a dancer, So from that day on, they were like totally into making sure that she was regular to class. So sometimes it takes that little bit of your effort. And she finally ended up dancing at the Oscars in 2009 during Slumdog Millionaire. She made it to the Oscars, So,
Oh, wow. I mean, that is a story. That is definitely a very proud
yeah.
story of a proud teacher and, of course, the student.
Yes.
So, Binaji, one question that definitely comes to my mind is the world is changing from the
Correct.
traditional ways of doing things, even teaching or dance or in any form, with the new digital ways and technology being so advanced. How are you keeping the balance or how are you advancing in your ways of working?
Yeah, I mean, dance won't change. We can change the ideas or concept or theme or whatever. It's classical dance is like this. It's like a language, like A to Z English language, and there could be like billions of books just using these 26 letters, because it's only the thoughts and ideas that is flowing out through these letters. So same way, dance, it flows out with these ideas, but dance remains the same. So we can use the mudras or the adavas. It has its own grammar and it has its own vocabulary, right? Even when you see a student dancing, that's not your student. we can actually see the vocabulary of the choreographer in that student. So yeah, so what she has for a Ravana, what she has for a Sita, like, how Sita is portrayed. Sita could be timid, but I feel Sita had her own strength, So she had the strength of Rama and Lakshmana's strength was her strength, actually, if you think about it, right? So even when Ravana abducted her, somewhere she knew she is going to be safe. She'll not be in any kind of she will not go through anything as long as Rama and Lakshmana are there. Somewhere it was there in the back of her mind, even though we portray her as very sad. And so if you know a little bit more about Sita's character, Sita will start looking different. So the choreographer has to know a little bit more than what we have seen for us to bring in something new, right? But even if we have it simple and the same story that the whole world knows, we can still bring in Ravana. Even though he's a bad character, he was a very intelligent character, right? One of the characters that where the gods have actually blessed him. He wrote the Shiva Tandav Stotram, right? So there's so much there was only one mistake he made. So for him not to make further mistakes, God decided, let him make the biggest mistake. So, so he's destroyed by the gods themselves, right? So there's like so much to that particular story where you can show it very simple, or we can elaborate on whichever character, Hanumanji, wherever you want to put your, energy in and bring out that character. It is possible to portray anyone and everyone there. But again, the teacher or the choreographer's guru's vocabulary is there in anybody's, any student's work you can see their vocabulary. Even if we are showing Ravana, we cannot show very colloquial mudras or gestures to say, he's going to attack Rama. Even though he's a bad character, we have to have like proper mudras and proper gestures to portray him as that powerful of a king.
So basically, what you're trying to say is that before we portray these characters, we need to learn a bit more about them.
A little bit research. Yeah.
So Binaji, do you follow other choreographers, and what all is happening in the industry these days with all these young things?
Not really. Only now, like recently, when I was at the dance competition, I realized like competitions have changed a lot. From the last competition I did in New Jersey was in 2014. Nayan Das's last competition. After that, after 12 years, I'm doing a competition in 2026. So a lot of it has changed. But I feel like change is not bad, change, but that Guru Shishya Parampara, those children are actually like, in a certain age where they're ready to mold to anything that we mold them to. Right. So more than dance, I feel at the end of the day, it has to be the discipline, the dedication that goes into this work that they carry when they leave the dance school. It should be that confidence and self-esteem. They feel that they know what they have put their time into all these years, and feel good and rich, and talk to other students, dance students that they would meet at their universities when they go, and they should feel they too know enough to have a conversation. Yeah. So when you've given them enough, either you have given them enough to be with them, or you've given them enough to be one of the best there, depending on the university. So each day, once they join dance class, I tell them every day you come in, you're one day closer to leaving dance class. So when you come in, learn as much as you can. Your teacher has a lot more than you. It's up to you to grab as much as you can and take it home, because it is your head that is consuming it. So take as much as you can from any teacher, not just dance teacher. Any teacher has a lot more than you. So try to take as much as you can from anyone and everyone that's trying to give you work, you know.
Isn't there a certain number of years that they have to be learning dance to complete that curriculum of Bharatanatyam?
I mean, we don't really complete. Our art is like that, right? It's like you can do as long as you want, but with the given time, time frame I use, since I teach Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and Mohiniyattam, I use the first 4.5, 5 years to teach Bharatanatyam. Then I teach them Kuchipudi. Then I teach them Mohiniyattam. Fusion is something that is taught, like if you don't know a certain form, you can just use fusion. Fusion is something where you know two different forms and you mix them together. You can't just wear like leggings and like a odni and call it fusion. Fusion is when you're versatile in two different dance forms, or any dance form, or it could be martial art and dance. It can be music and dance. It could be anything, one other form that you're good at, and this one other form that you're good. So you mix them. Like when you have fusion music, it's like two legends that have put it together. So fusion is not something that you do because you're not good at one dance form. So you have to have two different styles, and then you fuse it. That's when fusion happens. So you have to be more versatile to actually do a fusion form.
A good fusion form, because there's so many
form.
variety of fusion happening, but the real fusion, and even as a viewer, you can make out that what the choreographer is trying to do. I have a memory of your performance. This was in 2013 or 2014. You had created this Vajanti Mala movie sequence. It was a dance, old song, and I just cannot get rid of that memory because it was so beautifully. Yes.
Photo pe aisi baat, yeah.
Photo pe aisi baat. Oh my God, it was so beautifully done, and your students did a fabulous job, especially the main actress. So the way when the curtain opened, and I was the anchor or standing on backstage, but for that performance, somehow I was sitting in the front. I was just watching. And I was awestruck. I'm like, what did they do and what are they doing? It was just like a movie scene. I could not differentiate. So to me, when I see other performances, somehow that one scene is stuck in my head. I'm like, nobody has ever been able to do this, at least in this part of the world. I've not seen. So Binaji, you and your school Kalashri, I'm sure the students who are coming out of that school are so talented because you make them talented. Some they have, and you enhance their talent and you give them that confidence. So that's why you are different, very different.
That particular show, so vividly I remember this. We didn't know that we had to buy the tickets ahead. I was so focused on the dance. So they were like, I used to teach in New York and New Jersey. So the main dancer actually was from New York. So some of them were from New York. So this one mother, she just stood there and she just gave a check and bought this ticket those days, right, in early 90s for $200. And this was the only mom that could actually watch the show. So we didn't have anyone in the audience except for this one mom, and I didn't know we did a great job or we didn't know any of it. We just did a dance. That's it. And we didn't know how good it was or that, And she said we got like a standing ovation for that particular dance because the curtains come down and we just ran in. We had no idea like what we were doing, And then third place, we didn't get it. Second place, we didn't. But we knew like we were okay, And then finally, like first place, like Dimple Kapadia ji, she was like, I want to announce this. I want to announce this. And when she announced Kalashri, I was like, so happy that I said, oh, this is a genuine competition, And because we won, I was then after that, I heard from Naya Das Piran saying that when they saw the audition, their jaws just dropped, but they didn't want to tell us anything that day. Said that moving in and moving out, that was the very first time the world saw something like that. And because I've never like choreographed for movie songs. So I said in movies, they show this scene, that scene. So that came to my mind. And moving in and moving out was what I made it as an idea to show a movie song, And then then
It
from
was
there on,
unique.
that's all you see coming in good.
It
Yeah,
was unique,
that
and
was the
it was
first
just
time
a
I
scene.
choreographed.
And the way the student, your main actors were like running from this side of the stage, and it was, the oh my God, I can just keep
And
going on and on and on. So tell me, what
actually
is the
this
future of
year,
Kalashri?
like I was just going to say, this year I had students of children that participated in Honto Pensi Baat. They were senior students. Their children are senior students right now, So
What
I
a
was like,
journey,
that's
Binaji! What a
like
journey! It is absolutely phenomenal. So if your life was a dance,
dance. Yes, that's all.
so
Yeah.
what mudra would fit your life?
Mudra as such, it's always like something new is happening, right? So I would always do this, asking Almighty to give me more ideas. This is received giving
that
ideas from
that's
when that were like a boon, like sometimes I'm at a traffic light and a new idea pops up and I'm just waiting, someone honks, that's when I realize I know exactly like where I got like a costume idea or a theme. I go to the temple and I go around 108 times, pradesha I do. So at that point, like so many ideas keep coming to me, and my speed, the way I walk will determine like if my steps are fast for that particular idea. So I'll
oh
catch
wow.
myself suddenly like walking too fast, and then I'll realize, okay, I'm going with the step now. So anywhere, I'm always, I wake up thinking dance. My dreams are about dance. So I go to sleep thinking about dance. So this is one thing that's always there in my mind. And I miss out on a lot of gatherings because weekends and evenings are this. So, but this is very fulfilling for me to not even think about like missing something else.
Yeah. So Binaji, I think you're very well connected with the Southern film industry. Do you still
Yes,
remain
yes,
connected
yes.
with them?
Yes, my family has always been, even Hema Malini has actually acted in one of our family's movies, Dulhan, old movie Dulhan with
Okay.
Jitendra Ji. Yeah, so that was, and couple of Hindi movies they made. Actually, my father's sister's son, Mr. K. Balaji, he's
Yeah.
made several movies. And now, like, his daughter is married to actor Mr. Mohanlal ji. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we connected like that. And Shobana, my mother is related to Padmini ji. So, Padmini ji and Shobana, they're all like related to us.
So have you never thought of acting in movies or performing in movies?
No, it has come my way, but then somehow like uh, it didn't interest me. I've been at shootings and all of that growing up. So I've seen them like sitting and waiting around for so long. So that was not something that I thought I would be like happy doing it. So like I like to go there, get ready, do the makeup, costuming, and then go, work on that stage, come back
You
and
rather dance. You rather
yeah.
dance than waiting for your scene to be shot here.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot growing up. I've been at shootings and actually when I was 3 or 4, I've like acted in a movie, I think, and my aunt or cousin, someone took me and they said they never take me back again because I would not stay in one place. So it was something that I guess like I was not,
Yeah.
cut for. Yeah.
Born dancer. So,
Yeah.
so when we talk about Mohanlal ji, we talk about Mammootty. They're the legends. They are there, and
Yes.
more than legends, they are real actors.
Yes.
Because I
Yes.
think Malayalam movies are all about acting and story.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So, how has your experience with them? Like, how are they? Like in person or as people? Are I think they're very humble. I've not
Yeah.
interacted with them. Would
Yeah.
like to know that.
We did a show at NJPAC in 2000 with Mohanlal ji, and we had 53 artists from India. With Shobna ji was there. A lot of other artists were there. And we rehearsed in Kerala, actually, right? So we booked a hotel and we rehearsed. So he was so disciplined. If we have to start the practice at 9, he'll be there at 8:45, rehearsal room, and he'll keep track of it. First day, he kept track of everyone. He said, if you have to start at 9, you cannot be here at 9. You have to be here 8:45 so we can start at 9, you know. So that's one thing I tell my students too. If you want me to start the class at 6, you don't leave your house at 6. You have to wear your dupatta, all of that, and be ready here to start the class at that particular hour, right? So that discipline that he has, it's amazing. Like, I've never seen anyone that disciplined when it comes to time. So when you work with legends, there's like so much you, learn from them. And Priyadarshan ji was the director of that particular show. So, it was like, it has nothing like that has ever happened after that. Even they tell me the same thing. They've never done something so good after that, because we had no intermission. We just went from beginning to end in one stretch, and it had a storyline. The skits were part of the storyline, and the dances were part of the storyline too. So
Okay.
we showed like an Ultsav, Ultsav carnival kind of situation. Ultsav temples have Ultsavam,
Yeah.
So they like raise a flag on the first day and then they bring it down on the 10th day. So we did that, and 10 different items were happening because of those 10 days. And the last scene is bringing this
Flag down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, lovely.
very beautiful. Yeah.
I am enjoying this conversation
Yeah.
so
It's very
much.
well done.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy that you and I got time to talk, and you spent some time on this. I cannot end this interview without giving a shout out to your son, an
Thank
actor.
you.
Yes,
Wonderful.
I'm
Yeah.
wishing him, rooting for him, that he gets big roles in Indian Hindi film industry,
Thank you.
the mainstream.
Thank
I'm
you so
sure
much.
he's so talented because, one, he's your son. Second, you would
Thank
have
you.
disciplined him in this art. So, Manu, congratulations and all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you very,
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank you
So,
so much,
Binaji,
Mamta.
Binaji, thank you so much for your time on Moments with
Thank
Mamta.
you very much. It was so good catching up. And I'm
And
so glad I was able to talk to you.
thank you, and we'll see you
Thank you
very
very much.
soon. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank you, Mamta ji. Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thanks for joining me on Moments with Mamta. If today's conversation inspired you, please follow, share, and stay connected for more meaningful stories. Until next time, this is Mamta signing off.